Yeah, good evening. I'm Raman here, and I would like to share, that experiential learning with my two granddaughters, and I have a slightly a different perspective on that. In that, I learned as much as my granddaughters. That's it. It was a two-way learning process, and I would like to share some of my anecdotes with my two granddaughters. Now, the first thing is that when my granddaughter came for a 2-week vacation, the elder one, she was mortally scared of lizards. And most people are definitely scared of lizards. So I took it as a project that I should make her, you know, uh, this fear I should get rid of. So I wove some stories around the lizards when we went to the nearby garden, and then showing them, the Amma lizard, Appa lizard, then the two children lizards, then Tata Party lizards, and also how those two lizards were playing hide and seek, how the bigger lizards, the Tata Party lizards were basically taking rest and dozing. So like that, every day I made up stories around the lizards. And my granddaughter slowly began to get rid of her fear and started enjoying. And even she started fabricating stories around the two lizards. So when she left at the end of the vacation that time, she had overcome the fear of lizards, and my mission's accomplished. So that was one thing which make they start loving the nature and all types of creatures. That's one thing I wanted to teach. Then when recently I got B plus, she came from abroad. Every day I used to take her to a goshala where there was a cow and a calf. And the cow's name was Lakshmi and the calf name was Gauri. So my granddaughter was fascinated and she bombarded with a lot of questions. So she asked, how come Tata, the cow Lakshmi is eating green grass, but the milk coming out is white in color? Now, I was also fascinated by this question. I never thought in those, lines. And that's how, the grandchildren, think so differently from we, the adults. And I had to resort to artificial intelligence and get the answers, how the chlorophyll doesn't get into the digestion system. And that's how finally the milk, with protein and fat comes out as white, which was a learning for me also. Then I had to explain to her in her own language green grass turns into white milk. Then another time, when my other granddaughter, when he was about 8, we were walking to another garden. Like most husbands of India, I was walking ahead, leaving behind my wife and the granddaughter, who was around 8 at that time, my first one. So suddenly she shouted, Tata, stop. I turned back and I was worried. Then she came to me and said, Tata, you should learn manners. You should hold Pati's hands and walk, not leave her back. So this is something, very unusual for me. It was a bit embarrassing for me. But I also learned in the process what good manners are from my granddaughter. So then in outside our colony, there is a lot of stray dogs, and there were some instances of stray dogs dogs biting small kids. So when I took her out, I was a bit, apprehensive. And seeing a little girl and a stranger, one of the stray dogs snarled at her. And then, so quickly I lifted my granddaughter. But then something very extraordinary thing happened. My granddaughter, who is used to sing happy birthday to everyone and anyone, including to the lizards, she started singing in a soft voice, happy birthday. Her voice was so soft, very loving and caring. Somehow the stray dog seemed to have, realized through its instinct that this small girl is quite loving and caring. So it started wagging its tail. Now, love, affection changes the world is what I have read in books. But that is the first time I experienced how love changes hatred and how it converts, right? So my experience from bookish, it was a real life learning for me in that episode. So that is another thing. Similarly, when we went out for my 3-year-old, when she was wanted to counting, 1, 2, 3. So the best thing for me was to show a spider and then ask her to count the legs. So she had known only around 3 or 4. So I was able to make her count up to 8. And then she sang the Inchy Vinchy spider rhyme to the spider. And that's how we integrated, artificial intelligence to natural intelligence. Through the natural world, I taught some simple mathematics, counting the legs of the spider. Then among the various stones and rocks on the road, there was a small plant which had come, and it was even had a flower. So the other granddaughter was around 9. She knows something about, biology and plant area. She asked, Tata, how come there is no soil? There is no water. How the plant has come? How the flower has come? Without soil and without water. I was also fascinated. I had ignored that earlier. So we quickly Googled and found that certain plants of this nature, their roots do not go down vertically like the most. They spread horizontally. Not vertically, but horizontally. And through the small crevices, they find some soil and some moisture entrapped. Then I added my own story that each of us are also unique. And some people you will find very lean, even though they eat a lot. And there are some people who are very fat, and though they don't eat at all. So plants also, we have different types of plants. Some, requires a lot of water. Some plants require hardly any water. So plants and animals have a lot of things quite common. So this was a learning for both of us, why that plant among the rocks blossom. So basically, it was a learning experience for both of us. I feel as a grandparent, I had a second chance, second opportunity to play with my grandchildren, which I missed as a parent. I was so busy with my work, and I did not know the term work-life balance then. It was invented much later. So grandparenting was a second opportunity, nature gave me. So that is my experiential learning for me and for my granddaughters also. Thank you very much.